So good morning. We've made it through another week, and I don't know about you, but I used to absolutely love being at a disco. Friday and Saturday nights, in fact, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, I would spend most of my time on the dance floor. And it's something that I have really missed as I've got older. Apart from the odd occasional wedding or a big event or a ball, it's the only time I've seemed to have been able to get out dancing. And today's guest, Nikki Spencer, has put a real change to all this for lots of people. So I can't wait to hear about the inspiration before setting it up. Haven't stopped dancing yet. So let's find Nikki. Good morning, Nikki.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Lovely to meet you on here. And look how gorgeous you look in your outfit.
I decided to sparkle it up a bit. So
absolutely.
Excuse.
What a perfect way to end the week.
Yes, yeah. Friday. It's disco night.
Friday, it's disco night. So where do we begin? Tell me a little bit about how do you describe yourself to people?
Do you know what? A friend of mine who runs this amazing children's shop, she had a business card and it said Director of Fun. And so I actually stole it from her. So Julia, Ottie and the Bee in Blackheath, wonderful shop. My daughter actually works there. Anyway, so I then thought, you know what? I am Director of Disco.
Oh, I love that.
On my business card, it has Director of Disco, which is kind of, it'll kind of sum it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, that's what I do. Or that's what I still try to do. Life is slightly different at the moment, but, we're still dancing.
I mean, as I said in the introduction, I absolutely love dancing. And when I was younger, I spent all my nights, whenever I could, I would be on the disco and I would be there all night. And then you lose touch of that part of you because there's not as many opportunities. So where did this whole amazing idea come from initially to start it up?
It was one of those that gradually grew over the years, I suppose. You do that thing, I remember being at university, Thursday night, funk soul disco night in Manchester was my thing. And what was the other one called? The Ritz. We used to go to the Ritz. Ritz or Ritzy. I was dancing all the time. I was dancing when I was a teenager. And then in London, you're going to clubs. And then you stop because you have children usually, or you get a bit older and you just don't feel comfortable going to those clubs anymore. And I just thought, I think it was gradual dawning. I used to hang out, friends from school, our kids were at school together. And it actually started, it's a bit weird, it started when my partner left me. The father of my children left, and I actually had some time because my kids went to him every other weekend. I had some time where I could actually go out dancing and do stuff. And a friend of mine was in a similar situation, and we're like, yeah, let's go out, let's go dancing in the West End. And it didn't quite happen because we'd go to a place and there's a big long queue. We didn't know if we were going to get in. I mean, I've had horrible stories of people like 2 queues. There's a queue, you're in a queue, and then they go, oh, you go that way. And then they realise that they're back out on the street again.
That's just awful.
They didn't look right. They were too old, basically. And I just wanted to go somewhere where I knew I could buy a ticket in advance. I knew I could plan. There is nothing better, is there, than it's like Friday, Saturday night, with your friends, some Prosecco, whatever, getting ready, getting dressed up. I mean, at our nights, we have people who go around to each other's houses and make outfits.
I love that.
And then come and party with us. So it's just that whole thing. And I just thought, I want to dance. Why can't I go somewhere where I feel safe, comfortable, not being hit on, not feel awkward, not feel as well like I was gate crashing one of my teenage daughter's parties. All those kind of feelings that we have. I just wanted to go out dancing, but feel good and feel positive about it, as opposed to, am I going to go in? How's it going to feel? What's it, and all those, doubts, I suppose.
I can completely relate to that because I got divorced at 40 and I had the same as you. I had every other weekend free, and I did kind of venture out into Leeds with another male friend, actually, to nightclubs. And as much as it was exciting to be out doing stuff, it was awful because you felt uncomfortable. You felt like you were in the wrong place. Like you say, massive queue. are you going to get in? And so it really kind of, and it made me feel so much older than I actually was as well from the whole experience, that I just gave up.
At that age, I wasn't that old, but I felt probably older than maybe I even do now.
Yeah.
Because you don't, I don't know, it's just dancing just makes you feel so good. And it brings you such a high. And I mean, the stories we've had of people who've come to the nights, who've, you know, lost their partners, really lost their mojo. And it's over the years helped them get, you know, giving them their groove back.
Yeah.
You know, just being able to have somewhere that they feel safe, comfortable, come and dance their socks off. Men as well as women, just everybody together. Doesn't matter what age you are, sexuality, you know, whatever. Yeah. Just come and dance your socks off. And that's why, in a way, it's really interesting. I started it so that people like me could go out dancing. And actually, my daughter, who's just helped me with the technical side of this, we were having a few problems earlier, she came on New Year's Eve with one of her best friends because they just think it's the best night out ever, because they can dance and have fun, but without any of that hassle or, you know, how do we get home and it's too late and, which club do we go to and are we allowed in? I mean, she's had stuff where they sell tickets to nights and then you're not even allowed in.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A young person going out as well.
Yeah.
So, so I kind of, I'm going on, aren't I? I'm talking.
No, not at all. No, it's fantastic. I mean, how did you go from having those experiences though to then thinking, well, actually, I'm going to do something about it? Because lots of people have those thoughts, but then don't take that next jump.
I know. And I think I waited a long time, probably all sorts of stuff was going on in my family, which meant I couldn't do it for a while. But I was looking for a particular venue but actually it was, my daughter had a party at this venue, the Trafalgar Tavern down in Greenwich. Got this beautiful ballroom upstairs. She wasn't in the beautiful ballroom though. She was in a little space downstairs with her mates. And I got talking to the woman that ran it and I just said, I've been thinking of doing this night. She said, do it here. Just do it here. We'll sort it, whatever. And I think it was someone just giving me a little kick and just going, because I'd been talking to my friends about it for ages and they were going, when's it happening? You talk about it all the time. When's it happening? You know, and sometimes we need a little push.
Yes.
And anyway, so she gave me this lovely push and I just thought, right, I'm doing it. A friend of mine was a designer. So she helped with flyers and posters. Another friend is a DJ. I sourced another DJ by literally going to clubs and hanging out and, you know, finding DJs. I particularly wanted female DJs.
Right.
So I just wanted, just a mixture of DJs, and there were a lot of male DJs and not so many women DJs.
Yeah.
And what's lovely now is that we've got DJs who've kind of started with us doing a 20-minute set and now do the whole night.
Oh,
so
brilliant.
it's kind of a school for DJs as well, and a school for dancers. So we take people who've maybe not danced for a long time and then bring them back. And that is just wonderful. So
it sounds so much fun.
Yeah, it is. It is. I tell you, if I could bottle it, we'd have world peace. You know, the atmosphere of the nights is just, it's wonderful. And to be honest, I really miss it at the moment because it was kind of such a good buzz. And it's kind of exactly what we need in these difficult times is to have those good feelings, you know.
How regularly were you having them?
Oh my goodness. So what we did is we didn't have just one venue. So they're around Southeast London. We've tried a few other places as well. And we were just starting to work on a new business kind of model, which was that we would work with venues. So rather than me hire the venue, we do it like a joint thing, and we've started to do that in Maidenhead, in Berkshire, and it was just brilliant and worked really, really well. So we were doing them probably about 12, 15 times a year in different venues in Southeast London, outside London, and then we also do private parties. And we were doing, what's great is that people started to approach us now and say, we've got a venue. They know that we can bring an audience. So, and also people like Box Park in Wembley. So, you know, the Box Park, they're like container where they have food stalls and whatever. I posted it yesterday on Instagram. It was just the best. I mean, we usually do 70s and 80s. It's all about 70s and 80s and disco. But they got in touch and said, could you do a 90s party, a 90s pop party? And actually, I started to listen to 90s pop, and I was like, yeah, I think we can do this. And it was pre-Spice Girls. So we were the warm-up at Box Park before everybody went off to the Spice Girls gigs. Brilliant. And it was like 2,500 people every night. And it was just, again, the atmosphere was just amazing, because get people up dancing, and it's all feel-good stuff. It's all, you know, stuff that just puts a smile on your face or whatever. So yeah, so we were, we're doing probably about, lots and lots and lots of events. And now, of course, they've stopped, but we're still doing stuff online. And that's been a learning curve.
How does that work?
How does that work? So it took us a while. And when people first mentioned it at the beginning, I thought, Zoom? How's it going to work? Because we think of Zoom as meetings, you know, work stuff, whatever, having chats with people. But you know what? It has worked brilliantly. So we have a dancer, we've got a great dancer called Andrea Rose, who joined us just before lockdown. And she's a really good dancer and dance teacher. And so what we've been doing is we do, how do I describe it? We basically bring disco to your Zoom party. So if you've got a bunch of people, like we did it for a woman who every month was meeting up in lockdown with her friends from university. They were all having a chat on a Friday night. And it was lovely having a chat. But she said, why don't I come and we do like 45 minutes, an hour of just teaching them a routine over Zoom. So the dancer's there, she's in spotlight, everybody joins in. And it was to see this group of people go from just getting together on a Friday night, being a bit worn out, being a bit isolated as well. Some of them hadn't seen people for a while. Even within 20 minutes, just the atmosphere in every one of those rooms was just electric. It was wonderful. And by the end, they're all banging on the table going, one more song, one more song. You know, it's just, you can get that even on Zoom. And so we've been doing those kind of private parties. We've done some, we did somebody's birthday party. And we also have been doing just Saturday morning dance sessions, disco dance sessions. So we'll do a routine to Car Wash, Disco Inferno, all of those, but it's not too teachy. We have lots of free dance. So freestyle, you dance along, then we'll do a routine, break it down, and then we'll just dance a bit more. And then we'll play a request if it's somebody's birthday. And we've had people joining us from up a mountain in Spain, a whole bunch of people on a tennis court somewhere, social distancing outside with their friends for somebody's birthday. And it's just been brilliant fun. It's
I want to do one of those.
Really well.
I want to come and join you.
Yeah. No, it's been good. We're taking a little break just for August because don't know about you. I've got my disco fan here. Bit of promo there. But it was getting a bit warm. So we've decided we took a break for a bit of August, which was good when the weather was so hot the last couple of weeks. And we're back doing that in September. So we're starting again on September the 12th, I think it is. Oh, and then we're doing, this is someone else got in touch with me, and it's such a lovely idea. Because it's, when you've come to our nights, it's all about being with people. And you can just, the disco parties work really well. But someone got in touch and said, I run disco bingo nights. Let's do a disco bingo. So we've done one of those and we're doing another of those in October. And that is just 2.5 hours of just absolute fun. You just play the track, dance to it, and you might win a prize. And we've been doing those. And so I've been working with Steph, and she just got in touch and said, you fancy doing this? And I said, yeah, this sounds like brilliant fun. And it's just wonderful because it's like best fun you can have at home.
You're so right. It's so needed. It's so needed right now. It's exactly what people need. And not just right now. You know, music has such an impact on people and can be so good for people's mental well-being that this is just a tonic for people. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, with people are going, I haven't stopped dancing yet, should be on the NHS. Maybe not with the alcohol consumption. with it. But it's, you just need it. It you know, we all need to dance so much. And even in lockdown, you know, I've been trying to share on social media, just every so often I just put a track on Facebook and just say, dance around your kitchens to this, because we need to cheer ourselves up, particularly at the beginning. It was like, whoa, you know, everybody was in a state. And now it's a really difficult situation because you've got, I mean, we don't know where we are because we use lots of different venues. They're talking about reopening some of them, but obviously it would be social distanced. So instead of, so it's a fifth of your audience. And it's a really difficult one to know quite what's happening because, you know, pubs are open, but it's not quite the same, is it?
No, it's really difficult. It's a really difficult situation. I know I'm coming to London tomorrow for the first time since February for a casting, and I'm like, I can't wait. I've got a casting, so I'm literally just going down for a casting and coming back. But it's the first one since February, so I kind of feel like, right, that means stuff is slowly getting back to some kind of normal.
But it is, and then, but we've all got to keep ourselves safe as well. And it's trying to do that, and that's what, you know, for my audience, for people that come to our nights, I want to make sure that they feel safe. But having said that, all our venues, most of them are run by local authorities, and they've been so good about trying to, you know, work out ways that we can do stuff in the future. But
what were you doing before? What were you doing before this, Nikki? What's your background?
Oh my goodness. I'm a journalist.
Right.
And I'm still a journalist. I've kind of gone back to more journalism because obviously in this, I've had no income. None whatsoever. And because we have to be, I'm a limited company, which you have to be to protect, because you're dealing with big venues. You have to be a limited company. And all of us small sole traders, you know, limited companies have fallen through the cracks. So no support at all, which is really, really tough. So I've luckily managed to pick up some journalism work again. I used to write for The Guardian, The Independent, and I used to work in TV in the olden day. That's what I used to do. So I used to be a TV reporter.
So you've already been in the entertainment, but this is a very different route, isn't it?
It's a different route, yes. I think do you know what? It's really funny when we're talking about the box park thing. When I worked in television, never wanted to do live television, always did pre-recorded stuff. It just felt safer. And then it was just being on stage in front of 2,500 people. I'd never, ever have done that in my 20s. But in my 50s, I just go, When they said, I said, do you want me to host it? They went, yeah. That was it. And we just went with it.
I love it. I love how passionate you are about it. It's just fantastic. It's such a great. We need one in the north, Nikki.
I do
That's
get very
what we need.
excited by any opportunity to talk about Haven't Stopped Dancing Yet, because I just think it's something that we all so desperately need. And you know, and there is, I think, when you're in your 40s, 50s, there is so much that you have to deal with bringing up kids, elder parents, health, losing friends to cancer. I mean, we give 10% of our proceeds of profits and 10% and £1 for every class that we book at the moment to cancer research, just because so many of my friends, I've lost so many of my friends to cancer. And they were the ones that one of them came, checked herself out of the hospice and had one last dance with us, you know. And these are the things that are important. It's making the most of the time we've got and putting a smile on people's faces, I suppose.
Going back to that first event, how nervous were you before?
Oh my goodness. I was so terrified. I was so terrified. I'd kind of organised things before, because when you work in television, my crew still joke about my schedules. I say schedules. because they have everything on them. Because when you worked in television, you had to, you know, if you're interviewing people, you have to say what you think they're going to say, what's going to happen, and you're timing everything. And everything is thought out. So I kind of brought that with me, and I planned. So everything was very well planned, but you never know what's going to happen. I remember it wasn't the first one, but the second one, a DJ got held up in traffic or something. But luckily our sound guy had just a couple of, you know, this was a long time ago, so we were still, I think it's, you know, CDs or whatever, but he had some CDs in the van that he went, oh, just put this on. And that kind of saved us at the beginning. It was really nerve-wracking. I had dreams that the dance floor had turned into mountains and no one could dance on it because it was mountains. I mean, you know, it is nerve-wracking, and still I get nervous about stuff that's, you know, if we've got a big event coming up or something like that. But the buzz you get from, and this is what I'm missing at the moment, standing in the back of a room, listening to DJ playing the most amazing music, watching people, hands in the air, you know, just dancing their socks off.
Yeah. Just
standing and just going, not going, oh, I made that happen. Just going, aren't people amazing?
Yeah.
Their capacity for joy, their capacity for having a good time, and just going, you know what? Yeah, stuff might be going, you know, we're looking for a care home for my mum, maybe we're looking for this, we're thinking of that, we've got this to deal with. But, you know, for one night, we can just go dance our socks off and forget about it all.
Yeah.
And that for me is what it's all about.
I need to come to one of your events, Nikki. We need some in the north. I really do.
You will be, oh, I can imagine. Oh, I bet you've got some.
I will.
I've seen some of your outfits. I think.
Yes. I've got some fantastic silver. Yes, I have. They're my favourites. Yes. Yeah.
And all of that, and that lovely husband of yours, and, you know,
we will be there one day. Next year,
yes,
we will be
next
there.
year. Well, come to London.
Yeah.
I mean, we're it's so difficult to plan what's going to happen next and when it's going to happen. You know, I'm looking at dates for next year. We hope we're going to be back next year. I don't know what's happening this year. You know, it's whatever. But in the meantime, we are still up there online. Yes.
And so how can people find you?
How do people find? Oh, yes. Haven't stopped dancing yet.co.uk. That is us. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. What else are we on? Twitter. We're on good old school Twitter, because I still quite like Twitter.
I do, actually. I know Twitter gets a bad rap, but I actually like it.
Of keeping up to date with what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's a great one as a journalist. And I tend to write local. So I write at the moment, I'm writing for lots of hyper local things in Southeast London where I live. So websites and great local publications. And I come up with stories the whole time from Twitter because, you know, and I'm just always inspired by what people are doing.
Yeah, I am. Me too. Well, you are an inspiration, Nikki. I love what you do.
Oh my goodness, you're an inspiration.
It's just lovely to connect with you. It really is. It's an absolute pleasure.
Oh, I could, you know what I'm like? I could carry on chatting all day.
So. I know. Thank you. It's been brilliant. And I will definitely, I'll put all your details on, and I'm going to try and get to the Saturday morning virtual class.
Yeah, come to the
Saturday
morning
would be really good.
Class. That's great. But, you know, if you've got a bunch of friends, like, you know, and you just want to meet up with them, what we do is we have the Zoom. They all chat to each other. We come and do a bit of a party. Then I do a bit of, you know, teaching them a routine. Then I do a bit more DJing. And then, you know, and then they end up cocktails and whatever else till 3 a.m. on Zoom.
Fabulous.
That's your Friday night sorted.
Yeah. What's not to love about that?
What's not to love, hey? Thank you
so much, and have a lovely weekend. Thank you. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you. Well, that's just made me want to go out dancing now. She's just such a bubble of inspiration and pure joy that she's created. It's absolute magic. So I definitely have that on my bucket list of things that I want to do. And if it's encouraged you, then definitely look them up and you could join a virtual class. And why don't you go and get the radio on and do a bit of a dance in the kitchen. Enjoy your weekend.